Is this thing on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Anybody hear me out there? Hello? 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 Hey everyone, what's up? Another glorious weekend here at the house of Gerald, doing what I can to stay out of public and keep busy, keep my mind busy. Likes to go places sometimes, so I try to keep it busy by doing whatever I can around the house to aid that. As the intro kind of alleviated to, I got a new toy. So I had a couple issues I've learned through doing this videography stuff that I have shitty audio. Part of it's because what I'm using is a Rode boom mic, which is currently mounted here. It's great for this right here, just dead on. But when I turn the camera around, the audio goes away. And so in case in point, I'll just walk behind this and you'll notice the audio kind of goes away. I'm still talking the same, I'm doing everything the same. But I'm walking around behind the camera just to prove the point that the audio is directional, is what I've discovered. So when I'm vlogging and I turn the camera around, you can't really hear me very well. The other part to that was I'm working on a new series that I'm gonna do, or a couple videos, and I'm playing around with lighting and different ways of capturing what I'm trying to do. In doing so, I discovered that my audio sucked in some scenarios where I'm over here explaining something, you can see me doing something, but the audio kind of sucks because I'm far away from the camera. So I had to figure out a way to remedy that. The other kicker was I found that I have a really bad habit of not turning the camera on to record. So there's been a lot of sequences that I've actually shown. There's some that I've actually edited into the vlogs of past where I was actually talking while I was videoing it, but I'd never turned the microphone on, so you never heard anything. It was just dead silent. The way to do that is to overdub it. It's kind of a pain in the butt because you never talk the same twice to get the same rhythm, to make sure that what you're pointing at the right time is the right sequence and all that stuff, at least in my experience. Maybe there's a way around that and I'll figure that out in the future. But I thought, man, I need something that turns on and off with the camera, and I need something that gets better audio no matter what it is I'm doing. So I came up with a solution, kind of. It doesn't fix the power on off feature that I know of, but it definitely fixes the audio quality issue. And that is, I bought this. This is by Rode. It's the Lavalier Go, and I got it with the Wireless Go system. So you got a transceiver, or a transmitter and receiver, essentially, or vice versa. This is the receiver, that's the transmitter. So one will be mounted on the camera, plugged directly into the audio jack. The other one's gonna be on my person with the microphone plugged into it. At least that's the idea. So what I did was, I got this as a kit. They came together, bundled. This is not an endorsement, obviously, because it's really horrible quality, but I just wanted to try it out, and hopefully it works for what I'm trying to accomplish. In addition, I got this, which, what this is supposed to do is allow you to plug it directly into your cell phone if you're vlogging with a cell phone. I don't really foresee doing that too much right now, but I have some ideas in the future, so I figured I'd go ahead and get it now. So now what I'm gonna do is swap out the microphones and try the new guy. Bear with me. Hopefully this works. All right, I'm all wired up. As you can see right here, got the microphone. Just so happen to have the camera placed to where it's just out of the lens view. Got it plugged into this guy. You can see the two blue lights are on. If it's not connected, I found out, so if I forget to turn that on, I found out that this light right here will blink. A little visual to let you know that you're not connected. So that's kind of cool. Hopefully I can get in the memory of looking at that, or in the habit, I should say, of looking at that before I start vlogging, so that I know that I actually have the microphone turned on. At any rate, why don't we do a test? I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did earlier, only I'm gonna have this guy on right here, and we're gonna see how it works. So, walking around, actually over here by my front door now, I'm a good, probably 20 feet away. I'm actually going further behind than what I was before. Coming around, I'm behind the camera now, so I'm actually simulating holding the camera and talking. We'll see how it sounds. In fact, just for grins, I'm gonna walk clear over here by my garage door. I'm actually out of sight of the camera right now, looking down my stairwell. Probably hear some reverb, just see how it sounds. So now I'm gonna kind of simulate what I was doing earlier, where I was just right back here, just walking away from the camera a little bit to see if it actually sounds a little better. So I'm back over here, as you can see. I'm talking to this awesome white wall here. We'll see how the audio sounds. I can look directly at it. I can bang on it, but I can walk all the way down here to my bathroom. I'm actually in the tub right now. Well, not physically. See how it works. All right, there we go. I'm hoping this works because I'm gonna do the rest of the vlog with this microphone. So, update from last weekend's vlog. The vlog was basically me building my workbench desk for my full-time job, which is not vlogging. I do have a full-time job. It requires my attendance at least 40 hours a week, sometimes more. I set up a desk for the event that I would have to actually work from home on a more permanent basis because of this whole pandemic thing. Well, here's an update. Monday morning, go to work, find out, guess what? We're going to that, kind of. So essentially what my company did is We took the entire crew, we split them into 3 teams as we call them. And so what it is, each team gets 1 week duty physically at the facility to man it and to maintain it in the whole 9 yards. And then the other 2 teams will be off. And we're on 1 week rotations. There's a 3-week jaunt. So I'm on team 2, which means I had this current week working from my office here. Next week I'm actually at the facility for the full 40 hours, and then I'll have 2 weeks off. And by off, I mean I'm working from home, not really off work. And so we're on this rotation. We're gonna see if that works to hopefully do our part to aid in this whole pandemic thing. So Monday I was at the facility. That's when we got told that starting Tuesday, I was working from here, from my house. So I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from here. Well, I found out, number one, internet connection really sucks right now. I think it's because so many people in general at home, even out here in the sticks, there's enough people working from home that the internet's really bogged down. Probably from, you know, Netflix or Amazon, streaming, Hulu, whatever. That's probably not helping. Plus people working from home. It's just the internet's really slow. To add to it, I have to VPN because of security reasons. If you don't know what VPN is, essentially it's a tunnel into your system that's secure. So I can connect to our server and our hard drives and everything that's located at our facility from my house. That was even slower. So luckily I can do like email and calendar and some video chatting for work without being on VPN, but that's about it. Anything else I had to do via VPN. I tried planning for it. I really did. I tried to get everything, all the files I thought I might need and all the data. I have a box full of actual paper files I brought home. I downloaded to my desktop all the important files that I thought I would need from our network drives so that I could not have to be on the network. All that went out the door as soon as I started working. Email started coming in, data requests started coming in, that all went to crap. I ended up trying, and I was getting frustrated because each day, Tuesday it was not great. Wednesday morning actually it was okay, and then everybody woke up and started getting online, quality went down, and then Thursday was just absolute molasses. I got very, very little done. So in this little experiment, I found out that I'm getting migraine headaches. I got them Wednesday and I got it Thursday, and I'm trying to figure out what's really causing it, and I think it's a combination of really poor lighting in my office because, you know, it's a bedroom. It just has the one central flush mount light in the middle, and then I have lamps kind of around to kind of give ambient lighting, but I don't really have a good lamp set up for that purpose. So it's kind of dimly lit. I have these, you know, like I said, the dual monitor set up, but really it's just a laptop with an external monitor. The chair to height ratio with the desk isn't optimal. The desk is really uncomfortable. My chair is really uncomfortable. I have an old office chair that I've had for many, many, many years. In fact, it was a hand-me-down from my parents. It sucks. I think I need to get a new one. Luckily, now's the great time to go shopping because everything's closed. So I think I'm gonna have to hold off on that for now, just suffer. But what I've found is, I think a combination of the lighting, the poor sitting situation, you know, the improper ergonomics, and I was drinking a lot of caffeine. I was drinking a lot of coffee and soda, and I think that didn't help at all. I think the whole combination of all those, plus my allergies, it just made my head explode. So it's been a learning curve to say the least. Fortunately, I'm physically at the office next week, which will give me a little buffer zone, and then I'll have, you know, the weekend off, and I'm gonna try and figure something out then. I've got some lighting around the house. I've got some stuff in my storage unit. I'm gonna play around with different scenarios and maybe try and remedy my situation so I don't get headaches. I'm not gonna drink as much soda, kind of cut down on caffeine. It's just hard because I don't have interactions with people other than conference calls and email to really kind of keep me awake and keep me motivated, even though I have a lot to do. It's just you're alone in this little box, you know, and it's just really weird. It's just a really unfamiliar situation. In other news, as you might have noticed with the thumbnail for this video, I started doing some artwork. In fact, sitting right behind me is one of them. I've had these paintings, and by paintings I mean a canvas that I took and put paint on. In fact, I have several, but I have 2 big ones right now that I had and I never really liked. They're just kind of boring and plain. So what I'll do is I'll show you, I don't have a picture, or if I do, it's a really old picture of this guy before I actually repainted it. Essentially what it was just this blue with these circles and this weird splatter on it, and that's literally the whole thing. That's all it was. It sat in my office behind the door for 4 or 5 years. Never really did anything with it because I was looking for inspiration to figure out what to do. I was thinking about doing some play on the Seahawks football team because I'm a Seahawks fan. Go Hawks. But that never really went anywhere. So I just kind of sat on it forever. And then with this whole being confined to home, not be able to go anywhere, not be able to go shopping, not be able to go drive around, all the national parks are closed. I can't really do anything but sit here at home and go stir crazy. So I started thinking, you know, I still have all my old painting supplies. They're old. I mean, they've been sitting in a box for 4 or 5 years, but I have these 2 paintings, this one and another one I'll show you here in a minute. Why don't I just do something with them? So I did. I started with this guy. I put him up on my easel. I actually had the easel in storage. I had to go pick it up Monday. So I put this on the easel Monday night and I just went to town. I just started putting paint on it. I kind of got my inspiration from two celebrities, believe it or not. The main one is Sylvester Stallone. I like how his paintings are kind of really abstract, but yet he has faces and he kind of has a point to him. I was thinking about going that route, but I didn't. I don't want to copy him by all means. I just wanted to get inspiration from how he did his painting. And then I saw Nikki Sixx, you know, from Motley Crue. He does painting too, and I've seen some of his work. But then also on Instagram, when you thumb through search, a lot of videos pop up, and I get a lot of them for artwork. I don't know if it's something I looked at in the past or why I get that, but anyways, there's a lot of videos of painters doing painting on Instagram and showing how they do it. And I realized that, you know, it's not that hard. I mean, sure, it comes out of your mind, but it just takes just going for it and see what you come up with. So that's exactly what I did. I took this painting, I put it up on the easel, I looked at it for a little while, I grabbed all my paint supplies, put everything out on the table. I took two of these like 2-gallon paint buckets. I had one on each side of the painting on a stool, and I filled it up with all the paint. I had like a variety pack from years ago, right? I have all of these. So what I did was I put the full one on one side, the empty one on the other side, and as I put color on it, you know, kind of put it randomly, and I would do my thing with it. I'd put it in the bucket and then go grab a different one. So I wasn't going back to the same colors all the time. And it kind of proved to be interesting because I got quite a variety of color on here, as you can see. And I'll show you the finished product here in a little bit. And then another thing I did that I had never done before was I didn't use a paintbrush or any kind of typical paint applicator. I got this idea from Instagram, watching some of the videos. People had professional versions of this. I have the non-professional. But this, it's kind of like an offset trowel knife thing. It's a really thin one, just cheap plastic, but that's all I used to do this painting and the other one. And then the third one that I'll actually show you, I took video of myself doing it. You'll see that here in a minute. And so I just went to town and I did all this. So when I started painting this, I just threw colors on the canvas and started smearing them around and started mixing and getting cool streaks and different color combinations. And then when I had a good blob in the middle per se, I stopped. I let it dry, let it sit for like a day or two. And I just sat there on my couch staring at it. It was off from my couch. I did all this in the living room. And so I sat there as I was watching TV, Netflix, whatever, like everyone else. I kept looking at this guy, trying to see where I could go with it, trying to see what it was. Kind of looks like a face. I could almost see like a nose and an eye or something. So then I took it and rotated it. It's hard to point out, but to me, it kind of looks like a fish going left to right. Well, if you flip it the other way, it kind of looks the same, different type of fish kind of, but just go in the opposite direction. And I'm like, well, I could go with that. Well, okay. Well, let's turn it upside down and see what it looks like. Well, when I did, I got this view that I really stared at for quite a while after the initial kind of viewing of it. And I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of saw something here that was already started. I just needed to touch it up a little. What I saw was a horse head specifically. You know, over to the left, you can see kind of this nose coming down, and then you can kind of see the body kind of like going like this, you know, or something similar. And so I started thinking, I wonder how I could do that. So I started looking up pictures on Google, seeing if I could find a side profile of a horse, because I've seen views like that before, and I started finding them, and lo and behold, I'm like, wow, this actually kind of looks like what I'm looking for. And so I started picturing in my mind how I was gonna actually make this randomness turn into that, but keep it random. You know, try not to make it look like I intentionally tried to paint a horse. But I've never been a horse fan, but I'm not against them. I never thought I would do a painting of one, I guess is all I'm saying. So I just went with it, and I started visualizing in my mind how I was gonna apply this and what I had to do to kind of mimic the shape I was looking for. So fast forward to like Wednesday or Thursday night, I just went for it. And what I came out with was this. and I think it looks pretty cool. It's different than what I thought. I've given it a name. I'm not going to say what the name is. Eventually what I want to do is actually build a frame around it. I need my workshop to do that. My basement's kind of in a mess right now. That's a summer project, but I do want to build an actual frame for it. So fast forward to, I think, Thursday afternoon, Friday. I knew I had this red painting that's been on my wall forever. Luckily I took a before shot. Here's what it looked like before. Pretty plain, pretty bland. It's actually sat in this spot on my wall for 4 or 5 years, however long since I painted it. It livened up the room, but it was really plain. It was bland. It needed something. So after doing this painting here, I decided to put the red one on the easel, and I just took and I started putting paint on it. I knew that I wanted to rotate it because I thought that that worked pretty well for this guy, so I intentionally put that one upside down so the yellow stripe was on top, and I just went to town. I used colors that contrasted really well with the red. So if you notice on the original, I'll show it again. I don't know if you can tell, but the light blue, the green, the silver, they really pop with the red background. So I kind of wanted to focus on those colors. So when I did it, I started off with green. Well, green I found out is a very dominant color. And so when you're starting to mix other colors in there, the green kind of overtakes everything that you put on it. So it ended up having a really green influence to it. But I had some white, I added some other colors, and I tried to use every color that I had to some degree. And this is what I came up with. So keep in mind, this is upside down, but this is what it looked like initially. I sat with this view for quite a while, and I started to think it looked kind of like a face. So I went back and I added some touch up to it to kind of see if I could make it kind of go towards a face look. It looked horrible, so I covered that up. I can see that I still have it there, but nobody else would be any the wiser to know that that's what the intent was for why these certain colors are where they are. They still have an abstract look, so fortunately it just blends in. And so I started thinking, well, what can I do with this? So I went ahead and did just like I did with this guy. I flipped it, and so that's where I came up with this. In my mind, I see multiple faces here. I see one kind of looking dead on. You can kind of see devil horns sticking out the top. It kind of looks like a devil, but really distorted face, so you can't really actually see any facial features. But then if you look too, it kind of looks like there's a face looking off to the left. There's other little features I see in there. If you look kind of towards the right, upper middle, it almost looks like an eyeball. There's just weirdness to this whole thing. So I think I'm going with a face, distracted mind kind of theme with this. I'm gonna leave it as is. I'm gonna frame it, the same as I'm gonna do with the blue guy, and I'm gonna call it good, and I'll see if I like it. I may add something to it later or change it. Maybe I'll paint over the whole thing, I don't know. So I thought, you know, I should actually videotape myself doing one of these. I happened to go downstairs and find that buried deep in my basement / storage unit, I found I had a couple brand new canvases still wrapped in plastic. One was a really small one and the other one was a medium-sized one. So what I did was I'm like, I should videotape myself painting this, doing the same kind of process I did for this and the other guy. So I decided to take my bar top in my kitchen, clear it off. I pushed all the junk out of the way. It's a bachelor pad. I got stuff everywhere. It's really just a catch-all. And I put some heavy construction paper that I happen to have, again, for finishing my basement. I put that up there. I set up lighting. I set up the camera to get the right angle. I got the canvas set out. I got all the paint organized. I wasn't gonna go through and use all my paint colors. I was only gonna use certain ones because I kind of had an idea where I wanted to go with this to some degree, or at least what color scheme I kind of wanted to go. So I just picked out certain colors that I thought would kind of contrast well. Essentially, I waited till the next morning. Today, I turned the camera on and this is what I came up with. So I actually added a little bit more color here and there, did a little touch up. Again, I'll probably build a frame for it, make it look a little more professional. At any rate, here is the finished product. At any rate, that's kind of my video for the day. I enjoyed making it. It was cool actually making the paintings, getting my artistic side out again. Fortunately, I'm out of canvases other than a small guy there and a couple that I want to do cover up or repaint, much like I did these two. I need some bigger canvases, but they're quite a ways away, and that I'm pretty sure the store that sells them, I'm guessing they're probably all closed. So I probably won't be able to do any more for a while, but I'll come up with other creative ways to keep my mind and my body busy while this whole thing goes on. So until next weekend, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click like, click subscribe. There'll be more coming. I'm gonna make this a regular weekend thing, and we'll see what I come up with to do next weekend. All right, thank you. Have a good one. And please, stay safe out there.